Dr. Nalini Avinash Wagmare, working as an associate professor at Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapith, Pune. Today's our topic is related to position of women in medieval India. Under that, we have to study the introduction, social evils which existing in medieval period, then famous women rulers of medieval period in Delhi and as well as Mughals, even Maratha also. Then women's education in medieval India, conclusion and few references we have to study in this lecture. Then women, as you find that in the last lecture, we have studied the position of women in ancient India. Today, we have think that what was the position of women or status of women in medieval period. Women continue enjoying the same position more or less until the Muslim invasion from the northwest. The political instability, consequent migration of population, and economic depression extending over a period of about 3 centuries affected the position of women. In medieval period, the position of women was very miserable as compared to ancient period. A woman could only marry once among Hindus, while a man was permitted to have more than one wife. Uh, Among Muslims too, this custom of polygamy prevailed. In large parts of the country, women had to live behind the parda. Women were mostly required to live within the premises of their houses to cook food and feed and take care of their children as well as other family members. The custom of early marriage was much frequent in the Indian society, and even the children of 5 or 6 were also married. Means child marriage system was practiced in this period. On those days, the widows could not remarry and had to lead an ascetic and restricted life. In many parts of the country, particularly in Bengal and Rajasthan, the horrifying custom of sati, self-immolation of widows, prevailed. The husband, then she has to jump in the fire and sacrifice her life with her husband. So this sati system was cruel, inhuman practice existing in medieval period. All these customs adopted by Hindu society to save the honor of their women against invaders and foreign conquerors. All these customs hamper the progress of women, yet there appear throughout the ages some women who excel as administrators, warriors, reformers, and religious teachers. Very few women we find in that time. For example, Padmini, Rajia Sultan, Durgavati, who fought against Akbar, and Chand Bibi, who defended the Ahmednagar fort, represent warriors and administrator amongst the women. Then in the Mughal, while we take the Mughals, famous women like Nur Jahan, Jahan Ara, and Jabunanisa are prominent women of the medieval India. Among us, the Maratha rulers, Jijabai, Tarabai, was instrumental in putting up a powerful resistance against the onslaughts of Aurangzeb, as well as Ahilabai Holkar, whose administration won admiration of the Englishmen were famous women of this time. Then in medieval period, the women were secondary status in the society. Muslim women observed strict parda system. Polygamy system existed in the society. The social evils which existing in medieval period are child marriage system, sati system, devadasi system, ban on widow remarriage, dowry system also existing, lower position of women in the society, means secondary status of women in the society we find in the medieval period. Then the Indian women's position in this was further deteriorated during the medieval period when sati, child marriages, ban on widow remarriage became a part of the social life in India. The Muslim conquest in the Indian subcontinent brought the parda practice in the Indian society. Even among the Rajputs of Rajasthan, the Jauhar was practiced. In some parts of India, Devdasi system, the who were Devdasis, the temple women were sexually exploited in the name of the Devdasi practices. Polygamy was widely practiced, example, the Hindu Kshatriya rulers as well as others. In many Muslim families, women are restricted to Janana areas. Then in Islam, the women marriage is considered as a contract. More than one wife also existed. According to Quran, polygamy is permitted. A Muslim woman cannot marry a non-Muslim, while a Muslim male may in not only Muslim women but also others. Divorce are permitted under the Muslim law and they generally fall into the three categories. The Parda system was strictly practicing outstanding women at the time. Already explained that the Sultan, Rajia Sultan, Jan Bibi, etc. Harem was also there. A few foreign historians, scholars given information about the position of women in ancient India in their foreign accounts. Monucci, Bernier, Niccolo Pontin, um, the royal women's name also mentioned in their book like Mumtaz Mahal, Noor Jahan, Rajia Sultan, Gulbadan Begum, etc. Then the Parda system, there was no Parda system existing. The what was the impact of the Muslim rule on women? First of all, the introduction of Parda system. There was no Parda system among the Hindus before the arrival of the Muslims in India. The Muslim observed Parda system very rigorously, and so its influence on the Hindu subject was somewhat natural. But the Hindus opted it more because of the changed circumstances rather than in imitation of the Muslims. In order to save their women from the portentous eyes of the Muslims and the foreign invasions, the Hindus adopted the Parda system. Gradually, Parda system became common during the medieval period. Then the other impact of the Muslim law on women is the position of women. Although the women enjoyed respect and influence at home, they were completely dependent on their husbands or male relatives and had to live in parda behind the parda also. Some of the artistic Muslim families adopted the Hindu custom of sati and johar and dowry system also. Popularity of child marriages started in the medieval period. Most of the Muslim rulers and nobles married Hindu women by force, but they spared married women as a convention, not as a rule. Forced by this circumstance, the Hindus began to marry their daughters at a very early age. So, child marriage became popular, very common in the medieval period to save their child from the invasion of the foreigner. Restriction on liberty of women started. The Muslim do not give liberty to their women. Uh, Firoz Tughlaq, a great protagonist of Islam, had formulated certain rules prohibiting women even from visiting the tombs of peers and holy saints outside the city. The Prophet also said, "Those people not to make women their ruler will not find salvation." Consequently, Hindus also began to put certain restriction on the liberty of their women after the uh, fashion of the rulers. Then, in spite of these restrictions, some excellent women done work in a few fields like politics, literature, education, and religion. For example, Razia Sultan became the only woman monarch to have ever ruled the Delhi as a sultan. The Gonda queen Durgavati ruled for 15 years before she lost her life in a battle with the Mughal Emperor Akbar Asaf Khan in 1564. Then Chand Bibi defended Ahmednagar against the mighty Mughal forces of Akbar in 1590s. Jahangir's wife Nur Jahan effectively taken the power in her hand and ruled the Mughal throne at that time. Then Mughal princess Jahanara and Jabunanissa were well-known poets and also influenced the ruling uh, also done work. Even we take the example of in the Maratha period also, Chhatrapati Shivaji's mother, Mata Jijabai was also a great woman who built a, great, helped the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj to build a Maratha state. In South India, many women administrated as a villages, towns, divisions, and head social and religious institution. Many women worked as officers there. While we take the related to position of women in Bhakti movement also made a lot of changes in the position of women in medieval period. Under that, we find that what is a Bhakti movement? First of all, Bhakti means devotional love towards God. To get a moksha, a devotee devotion towards God, Bhakti movement started in India as well as in South as well as North, East, West, all over India. Reformers like Guru Nanak, Eknath, Jnaneshwar, Tukaram, Basveshwara, Kabira, Meera, all these reformers argued that give equal position of men and women equally. and remove the social evils which existing at the time like the sati, child marriage and devadasi and others. The under Bhakti movement, also few women like Mirabai, female saint poet, was one of the most important Bhakti movement figure. Some of other female saints also like Akka Mahadevi, and the Basveshwar movement. She is the first woman who started the feminist movement also, and she is a great writer, Vachana writer as well as philosopher. Even in Ramabai, Janabai, there's also women in Maratha as well as North Indian movements also. So Bhakti sects with Hinduism such as the Mahanubhav, Warkari and many others were principal movements within the Hindu fold to openly advocate social justice and equality between men and women. Then this is the information. Akka Mahadevi is perhaps one of the greatest saints of Karnataka and is comparable to Mirabai of Rajasthan and Andala of Tamil Nadu. Akka Mahadevi has composed some of the finest vachanas which are lyrical in nature. They tell us of all the turmoil and conflict she experienced in her spiritual journey. As far as literary quality is concerned, her compositions are next only to those of Mahatma Basveshwar. So she occupies a unique place in the annals of women all over the world. Her uniqueness springs from the fact that she was a combination of spirit of independence, willpower, courage, mystic insights, poetic fervor. Her vachanas are among some of the earliest literary composition by women in the country. Akamadi's contribution in terms of mystic vision and poetic imagery has enriched the Vachana literature immensely. From that day, 12th century to till 21st century, her Vachanas are very helpful to us. Then Sant Mirabai was an aristocratic Hindu mystical singer and devotee of Krishna from Rajasthan and one of the most significant figures of the Sant tradition of the Vaishnava Bhakti movement. Her prayerful songs, bhajanas attributed to her, are powerful throughout India, have been published in several translations worldwide. In the Bhakti tradition, they are in the passionate praise of Krishna. Details of her life, which has been subject of several films, are pieced together from her poetry and stories recounted her community. Even today also, Miras Dohe also, bhajanas also, sung by every family in North, East, South, West also. Then shortly after the Bhakti movement, Guru Nanak, the first Guru of the Sikhs, also preached the message of equality between men and women. He advocated that women be allowed to lead religious assemblies, to perform and lead a congregational hymn singing called Kirtana or Bhajana, became members of the religious management committees also, to lead armies on the battlefield, have equality in marriage and equality in Amrit. Other Sikh gurus also preached against the discrimination against the women and given prior position to women in their religion. The nature of education in medieval period, women are second status in the society. Moral and religious education provided to her. Vocational and homekeeping and cooking education also provided. For royal family, political and military education provided to women. Then Rajia Sultan also, while we study the political history, then Rajia Sultan was the first woman Sultan of the Delhi and ruled the court of Delhi from end 1236 to 1240. The only ever woman to do so, she defied all odds to occupy the throne, including the overcoming conflicts over her gender and her slave ancestry. So Rajia Sultan also known as a Sultan of Delhi. She was the first female Muslim ruler of the subcontinent, the only female Muslim ruler of the Delhi. From the very beginning of her reign, Raja faced very opposition from the nobles, Turk, and she also faced the gender factor there also. Uh, Even she made many changes in the state and ruled as a man ruler in Delhi. Rajia Sultan was the first Muslim female ruler and also emperor of Delhi. She ruled Delhi for 4 years. She was the fifth Mamluk Sultan of Delhi. It was believed that she had refused to be addressed as a Sultana rather than she claimed the title Sultan itself. That is the courage and rule by the first woman in Delhi. Then Gulbadan Begum was a daughter of Jahir Uddin Muhammad Babur, the founder of Babur dynasty in India, the first Mughal emperor of India. She is the most known as the author of Humayun Nama, the account of the life sketch of brother Humayun. So in her name means literally princess with the body like roses, but she is a good writer as well as she also find reference toward the Akbarnama, the book of uh, her name. Her name means literally princess with. Her name means literally princess uh, with the body like roses in Persian. She also find reference throughout the Akbarnama. Uh, She also finds reference throughout the Akbarnama, the book of Akbar written by Abul Fazl, and much of her biography details are accessible through the work. Many history students from that till today also refer her book as a reference book to know the more about Mughal dynasty. Then Jodhabai, Gulbadan Begum, Mughal historian. Gulbadan Begum was a daughter of a Jahiruddin Muhammad Babar, the first Mughal emperor of India. She is most known as the author of Humayun Nama, the author account of the life of her brother Humayun. Her name means literally princess with a body like roses in Persian. She was a descendant of the lines of highest Central Asian aristocracy. Timur through his son Miran Shah and Genghis Khan through his son Changtai Khan. Her mother was Dildar Begum and she was sister to Humayun, the second Mughal emperor. She also finds reference throughout the Akbarnama, the book of Akbar written by Abdul Fazl, and much of her biographical details are explained through the work. Then Jodha Bai, there is a popular perception that the Rajput wife of Akbar, mother of Jahangir, was known as Jodha Bai. तुझे के जहांगीर give information about that. According to Professor historian Jodhabai and Akbar, how Jodhabai helped the Akbar and Akbar how given the Rajput and emperor relationship at that time given information, and she is also a good wife of the Akbar and helped to build the Mughal dynasty at that time. Then Chand Bibi, also known as Chand Khatun or Chand Sultana, was an Indian Muslim woman warrior. She acted as the regent of Birjapur and regent of Ahmednagar. Chand Bibi is best known for defending the Ahmednagar against the Mughal forces of Emperor Akbar. Chand Bibi was the daughter of Hussein Nizam Shah, first of Ahmednagar, and the sister of Burhan ul Mulk Malik, the Sultan of Ahmednagar. She knew many languages, including Arabic, Persian, Turkish, Marathi, Kannada. She played sitar and painting flowers and was very her hobby, and she was a very courageous woman who fought against the Akbar. Then Nur Jahan, uh, also known as a Meher-ud-Nisa, was an Indian empress of the Mughal dynasty of the Persian origin, whose tomb lies in Lahore, Pakistan. Begum Nur Jahan was the 20th and the favorite wife of Mughal Emperor Jahangir, who was her second husband and the most famous empress of the Mughal Empire. The story of couples given in various books. She remains historically significant for the when Jahangir was busy in other things, she ruled the Indian states. Then Rajmata Jijabai was the mother of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who was the founder of the Maratha Empire. Jijabai gave uh, she wholeheartedly supported her husband as well as supported the son to establish the Maratha state. Then Mumtaz Mahal is the common nickname of Anjuman Banu Begum, an empress of India during the Mughal dynasty. Uh, she was religious as Shia Muslim. She was married at the age of 19, and on 10th May 1612, the Prince of Khurram, who would later ascend the peacock throne as Mughal Emperor of Shah Jahan, as she is the third wife and became his favorite, and she died in Burhanpur in the Deccan. In her memory, Taj Mahal was built by the Shah Jahan. We know the detailed story about it. So these are the few women's information given in this lecture, and these are the reference book you can refer for more detail. Ken Chitnis book, Glimpses of Maratha Socio-Economic History of the Marathas as well can, Chitnis book, Glimpses of Medieval Indian History, even V.D. Mahajan book, Medieval India, Radhika Sishan book, Ideas and Institution in Medieval India 8 to the 18th centuries. Then M.G. Ranade, The Rise of the Maratha Power, how what was the role of Jijabai and saints and other things explained in this book. Uh, Sima Alvi book is also important. So these are the few reference book you can refer for more detailed study on this topic.